Hello friends, my name is Rudy. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, this channel is geared specifically towards content creators on YouTube and Twitch, sometimes both, sometimes one of them. But if you want to stay up to date, subscribe. That way you can go ahead and see more content like this in the future. I've been on YouTube for about 5 years and I've been on Twitch for about 2. And I've learned a lot about content creation on a live streaming platform as well as a mainly VOD platform. There's a lot of techniques and tactics that you can learn in both platforms to elevate your brand even further. I've been using social media from a business perspective for over 10 years, and this is something that has taken my career into several different paths, and there's a lot of skills that I learned along the way, but there are some skills that I learned a little bit later in life that I wish I had learned sooner. And some of those things are a little bit nuanced, some of them are a little bit easier to understand than others, and some of them are just advice, things that I wish I had known early on. And this is what this video is about. So I want to kind of talk to my younger self, if there was a younger self. If I could send this to the past, this is the advice that I would give myself before I started this journey. It is so easy to think about what other people think about you. There's this thing called the spotlight effect that I'm sure you've probably heard of. And if you haven't, the spotlight effect is essentially that you think that that there's kind of like a spotlight on you and everyone is looking at anything and everything that you're doing. It's not true, actually. Everybody has the idea of the spotlight effect for themselves. So in reality, all they focus on is themselves and what they are doing. They don't really pay attention to the other people around them. They don't pay attention to the other events or anything like that. They only pay attention to what is happening to themselves and what they themselves deem as important in terms of what happens in their mind. If you're starting a YouTube channel or a Twitch channel, don't think about what other people may be thinking about you. It really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you can tell somebody, hey, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel, and they'll probably be like, oh, all right, cool. They don't really think much about it. They're not gonna sit there and be like, oh, well, they're starting a YouTube channel. That's not how it works. What's going to end up happening is that if you stay consistently doing this for a long period of time, eventually people will go ahead and be like, yo, that guy over there, yeah, I knew him before he blew up. I knew him when he only had like 50 subscribers. People don't really care about it until they see the success. They don't really care about what happens before you're successful. So at this point, when you're starting out, don't worry about it. Just sit there, record, stream, whatever it is that you want to go ahead and do in terms of content creation, and just do it. Obviously, when you're first starting out, you're not going to have an audience, you're not going to have that draw, and you may need development in terms of your on-camera presence and your persona as a whole, but that's okay. At this point, not a lot of eyeballs are going to be on your content. That's fine. This channel itself is super young and not too many people know about it, and that's fine, that's okay. If you do know somebody that could benefit from this type of content, share with them, by the way. Like, comment, and subscribe, and all that other stuff, you know. But I digress. When it comes down to it, you're going to want to keep at it. This is something that happens in terms of compound. And as you go ahead and post more videos, YouTube will have more content to serve to other people in terms of your channel. The way that I see it is that the more fishing lines that you have out on the lake, the more chances you have of getting a behemoth of a fish. That's really how I look about it. That's really how I think about the content that you put out there. So keep at it. Eventually, one of those videos, eventually one of those pieces of content that you put out will explode and you will get that viral hit that you're looking for. You have to know the basics of the gear that you're using. I know that it's very easy to kind of just get your iPhone or get your Android phone, just point it up at you and just start talking at it, which is fine. You might be able to actually get away with that, and that's okay. But in the long run, I think that it is important to take into consideration good audio, or at least decent audio, decent lighting, and understanding the basics of how to use a camera. The reason being is that when people land onto your content and when people land onto your channel for the first time, you don't want them to see content that is like mediocre. At least in my eyes, I think that it's really important to have not the latest and greatest, but enough to produce a decent quality video. That comes with obviously learning your gear and learning how to make the best content possible. If there is one thing that I would recommend out of this entire video, out of everything that I'm talking about, if there's one thing that I would recommend, it's is to go through the YouTube Academy course. It is a free course. There's a link in the description below. I'm not sponsored by them or whatever it may be, but that course teaches you the ins and outs of posting on YouTube. There are so many things that go into content creation that most people don't really think about. Most people think that it's just some random person talking to a camera and posting videos online. But in reality, there's a lot of things that happen on the tail end that if you're starting out, you may not know about. You may not know everything about analytics, and that's okay. But you should probably go through the YouTube Academy course so that you can learn the ins and outs of everything and prepare yourself for success in the long run. In that same vein, if you are going to go ahead and learn the ins and outs of those analytics, you really don't have to pay too much attention to them when you're starting out. When you're posting content onto YouTube for the first time, you're not going to have this huge content library that is available for that potential viewer to come and check out. So as you post more content, that's when YouTube is going to be like, oh, okay, all right, they're posting content consistently. There's a lot of things that are focused on this niche. Let's go ahead and start serving it to people that we think might fit the mold. This is the small group of people that has enjoyed the content that these people have been posting. Let's go ahead and serve it to people that are like it. There's this term called lookalike groups that are very similar to the same group. So let's say these 50 people really enjoy it, they're your subscribers, and they all had a good time and a good experience, and there was a lot of positive signals coming from that. Then YouTube will be like, well, you know, there's this group of people that's over here that's kind of like this one, not exactly, but kind of like it. And let's see what happens when we serve it to them. And that's how people go ahead and grow. As your audience and your subscriber base continues to grow, YouTube will know more and more where to actually put your content and which eyeballs should be looking at it. I hope that this kind of gives you an idea of what I'm talking about in terms of content and how you can go ahead and grow. But when you're first starting out and you don't have that big library, it's going to be difficult to get to that point. If you want to learn more about the type of things that I've learned in the past by starting off YouTube wrong, check out this video right over here. And that way you can go ahead and see firsthand some of the things that I finally pieced together and realized that, hey, this is the right way to go about. Obviously, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one. Peace.